Over the next 15 years, we will experience more change than in all of human history to date. By 2030, 8.5 billion people will walk the earth. They will be drawn to cities in massive numbers for the promise of a better life. Cities will become bigger, and we will have more of them. Bigger cities will spur major economic growth, bringing billions of new consumers into the world economy, most of them in emerging markets. Dense city populations will drive new business models, people choosing to share resources instead of owning them, eager for services that save them time and effort. But such rapid urbanization will take a toll on the environment, straining our natural resources and infrastructure. Simultaneously, changing demographics will dramatically shift the tapestry of our society. Fertility rates are declining and life expectancy is increasing, leading to an older population and a shrinking and aging workforce, putting increased pressure on healthcare, retirement, and government services. But every cloud has a silver lining. An older working population will have greater purchasing power than their younger counterparts, creating new untapped opportunities for brands in a world that is becoming both hyper-global and hyper-local. A world powered by the internet, connecting everyone and everything, everywhere, enabling the growth of a vast digital marketplace and digital platforms that are changing the competitive landscape, with startups scaling faster than ever before and market disruption becoming the new norm, forcing companies around the globe to constantly reinvent themselves to stay competitive. As market sectors change, so does technology. The pace and breadth of innovation continues to accelerate. Technology components are constantly maturing and becoming more accessible, forming the building blocks for new breakthroughs to emerge, accelerating us forward. How will we keep up in the midst of a constantly changing world? We can look to these major socioeconomic, demographic, and technological forces, which HP calls megatrends, to help guide us. We might not be able to know the future, but megatrends can be a beacon for where the world is heading, enabling companies like HP to shape the future and chart our own course. The opportunity is ours.
Hi, and welcome to the HP product portfolio for the IT team. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Cheryl. I am the product evangelist here at Exceed. And today I'm joined by Chris from the IT team. And we will be going over the latest update on your HP notebook and desktop portfolio. Over to you, Chris.
Cool, thanks, Cheryl. So I just thought I'd touch a little bit on why we actually choose HP at the IT team. So we've been an HP shop for pretty much since we started. We've tried a range of other brands and just found HP generally to be the most reliable, the best value for money, and the hardware is just a good fit for our purpose and the customer's needs, most importantly. So they've got a really great range of devices, whether it's just a basic laptop for standard everyday business tasks, just like email or using Office. They've got really good options there. Or if it's something a bit more high-end, like you need more graphics power for rendering or some sort of creative use, they've also got good options there. So the devices are really well designed. They've got good build quality, they're reliable. It's pretty rare that there's a hardware failure of any sort, and they've got really up-to-date specs with the latest processors. So they're generally always ahead of the curve in terms of what's available hardware-wise. Another big thing is their warranty support, which is a big one for us, is really hard to beat, and the pricing is very competitive. So what we've found with the warranty service, I just thought I'd touch on that since it's a pretty important thing for us. Since we're in the business of IT, it's not only about the device itself, but it's also about the experience after you purchase it. So while we can fix most of the problems ourselves. In the real world, they do pop up, hardware issues that is. And when they do, they need to be fixed quickly. So we can generally expect a response from HP's warranty support team on the same day we lodge an issue, and have an HP technician on site the next day to get you back in business as quickly as possible. We've always been pretty impressed with HP's after sales service, and found that this is something that other brands generally struggle to achieve. It's one of the big selling points for HP in our view. So they use a nationwide network of on-site contractors, and that makes it pretty easy to get on-site support wherever you are in the country. They've got a good stock of parts locally available in New Zealand if your machine does need a replacement part. The warranty options are generally 1 year or 3 year. And they have what's called a next business day on-site service, which means HP are obligated to come on site the next day and fix the issue depending on parts availability as part of their warranty service. I'll now pass it back to you, Cheryl, friends at HP.
With HP, we are environmentally friendly. So what does that mean? HP, we have a sustainability program where we try and use recyclable packaging that's eco-friendly for the environment. So our goal is to use 100% recycled packaging made out of cardboard. So we've redesigned our packaging to eliminate using foam, plastic, metal cable ties and things like that. With that, most of our notebooks that are coming out now, they are made from, the speakers are made from 50% recyclable material. The device is used and made by 50% recycled aluminium parts. And also we use 50% recycled DVDs for the keylip keyboard. And once again, all of the other packaging is made out of recyclable cardboard. In this changing environment, sanitizing our hands and our products has been a really big thing. HP have actually tested their products, so our PCs can actually withstand up to 1,000 cycles of sanitization with household wipes. So knowing that you can clean your notebook or desktop keyboard and the keys aren't going to rub off and it's not going to damage your notebook there as well.
Sweet as, thanks Cheryl. So just thought I'd go through a bit of an overview of the portfolio of devices available at HP with the notebooks. So starting out, you've got the ProBook 400 series. This is a really good mid-range, just fairly medium spec laptop. It's really great for general office use, email, using Microsoft Office. The specs are really decent for the price, so they'll be coming in at around the $1,300 mark for the base model. And the ProBook 400 is generally the laptop that we recommend as a solid option for general office use. Moving up, you've got the ProBook 600, just has a few more spec options, has a docking port, which is pretty useful. Is that correct, Cheryl? Correct me if I'm wrong, I think they still have one, yep. And then moving up into the higher end, we've got the EliteBooks. That's really good as a slightly higher end device, someone that's wanting something with a longer 3-year warranty as opposed to the ProBooks 1 year. Build quality is slightly higher and the spec options are also higher as well. Moving on, you've got the EliteBook 1000 series. These have some pretty cool features like a 360-degree flip screen, so it can sort of become like a tablet. And yeah, lots of cool touchscreen options there. And then you've got the ZBook range, which is more oriented to those creative types that need graphics power and sort of more of a mobile workstation, which would have performance comparable to a high-end desktop PC as opposed to a laptop. And the other two, as and as the IT team, we generally don't tend to touch on too much. But if you wanted to go into those, Cheryl, I'll let you touch on those a wee bit.
Yeah, so we do have the education Chromebooks, so that they're obviously designed for your schools, your children that are going to school. And the reason why they are the Chromebooks is because basically the schools can add and remove a lot of function. As you know, children like to touch on different applications, ones that they shouldn't be on, especially in school time. These Chromebooks are customizable based on the school to make sure and ensure that they are only accessing things that they need and at that given time. The other one that we focus on is the healthcare sector. So these are sort of notebooks that are certified for the healthcare environment. So there are a couple of examples here. One, you may have a notebook that needs to be sterilized quite regularly in your operating theatre. That's where you would see the range of your healthcare notebooks. Not really for your day-to-day operation. They're really specifically designed and have special certifications to be able to ensure that, you know, if you were having an operation, it would be quite sterile and there'd be no bugs or anything living on those PCs. So
awesome. One thing I thought I should also mention is HP are also now offering AMD processors in their laptops. This is a pretty solid option with comparable performance to the usual Intel processor, and the price point is generally slightly lower than the Intel equivalent as well. So that's a really interesting offering from HP, and it's cool to have some choice there with the processor options. Cool. We'll just go a bit into some of the docking solutions that HP have. These have sort of come a long way over the past few years from your usual mechanical sort of clip-in style dock. So yeah, who uses docks? Lots of different people, really, lots of different professions. Basically anywhere you need a sort of well laid out workstation setup, whether it's at your home office or your normal work office. A dock can also always be super useful. So yeah, they've got a few different types of docks. Our go-to is the everyday USB-C, the USB-C dock G5. So it's pretty easy to see why docks are useful, especially with the move to work from home. Having a home setup that lets you work efficiently is super important. Basically, the main advantage is that you can dock your laptop to your monitor, your keyboard and mouse with just one cable, and that makes it super easy and convenient to plug in your laptop in and out and move it around. So that one cable, it provides power to the laptop, so it charges it, and it also outputs data to the monitor and all those other USB devices which are plugged into the docking station. So as you can see there, they've got a few different options. The high performance ones provide a bit more power output for those higher end devices like the ZBooks. They've got some pretty cool features as well. Yeah, and then it sort of moves down. And at the lower end, you've got those little portable docks, which are really nice and small. They're super handy for traveling around if you do need some extra ports and charging and that sort of thing. Cool. We'll just let Cheryl touch on some of the desktop options that are available with HP now.
So desktop options, traditionally in the past, we would be using a desktop mainly because everyone would be office-based. In our current environment, things are changing and changing quite rapidly with the work from home, take your PC, travel anywhere. We have seen a slight change in the desktop demand. However, in saying that, there is still a lot of need and want for desktop, and we do have a great range available for you guys. We do have the desktop ProDesk 400, which would traditionally be equivalent to your ProBook 400, your notebook. So basically these come in a couple of different options. first and foremost, you've got the desktop mini. So the desktop mini is a small portable sort of PC that can dock at the back of a monitor. It is quite small, or you can have it down at the bottom of your desk or mounted on the side of your table. Then you've got your small form factor. So this the small form factor still has options like a CD drive or a DVD drive, and then you've got your tower. So the tower, obviously designed for being upgradable, being able to put bigger graphics cards in there, and more of a PC, depending on what you're using it for, can be upgraded to what you need. We then move on to the ProDesk 600 range. So obviously, once again, stepping it up with a little bit more grunt, a little bit more power, and then moving into your Elite Desk range, which is definitely about performance. And a lot of businesses that are using multiple applications will look at your Elite range as well. We do have collaboration models. So basically, with our changing environment, once again, we're doing a lot of online meetings, a lot of online webinars, a lot of online huddle room chats with our teammates, rather than and it's all virtual rather than being in the office. So we've seen a really increased demand in these types of devices. So there's a couple of devices here. There is a HP Slice. So the HP Slice is sort of like your in-room hub. So you can walk into the room and it's got a screen where you can see your event that's coming up. Might be a webinar, which has a camera connected to it as well, or you've got your full collaboration, which is what we're using today. Today we're using a Slice for meeting rooms, which has your built-in audio dock, sound and speaker, and it also has a little tablet form to control the room as well. So that is your notebook range. Desktop range. We do still have an all-in-one. So the all-in-one is a monitor and PC built in one. We have seen a little bit of a demand for these over the lockdown period, and that's mainly because some people at home don't have a lot of space to have a monitor and a notebook and a keyboard and all of these sorts of things. So you can also still purchase a PC that has everything all in one. Alongside those desktops, we do have the monitor portfolio. So we do have your Z displays, which are designed for your workhorse machines, like your Z machines. So they're really designed with high-end graphics performance. And then we move into your Elite displays. So we see a lot of these Elite displays. The Elite displays allow you to have height adjustable, tilt and swivel. You can also turn the monitors into portrait mode. And then we move into our Pro display. So the Pro displays are a good monitor if you're just using it every single day. They're good on the eyes. They're not so bright as well. They are quite good for that eyesight of yours. And then we do have the Cheap and Cheerful, which is the HP value display. So they are designed for a business that doesn't want to spend a lot of money on the monitors because they may not be there all the time. However, they do still want to have an entry-level monitor. And then once again, we do have your healthcare displays available as well, obviously rated for the healthcare environment, and then large format collaboration displays as well. All right, so what we have here is the ProBook. So as Chris mentioned today, the ProBook 400 is your pretty standard run-of-the-mill notebook that you guys will be using. With this, we have had some recent updates on it. So this is now a Generation 8. So a Generation 8, it means it has the latest Intel processor, which is the Gen 11. And there have been a couple of changes to the notebook. So the first one is here, it's called Lift Anywhere. So Lift Anywhere means that anywhere along the front of a notebook, I can grab and lift. This particular model is the entry-level X360 ProBook. So what that means is that I can turn this into tablet mode. So I've got my tablet side here. I can be doing sort of any of my work tablet functionality. I also have a camera that's on here, down the bottom here. And that means that if I'm in tablet mode and I need to be scanning or taking pictures, then that is a function available. That's really good for supermarkets that are doing like lots of stock taking or warehousings or anything like that. The other feature that we have redesigned the keyboard. So with the ProBooks, previously on the keyboard, we used to have the on button on the side. We now actually have the on button built into the keyboard. A couple of reasons for this. Now that we're traveling and we're docking our notebooks in and out of our docks quite regularly, we tend to bump that, lose documents that we're working on and haven't saved, and ease of use as well. Everything is now streamlined into the keyboard. In here we've got new programmable buttons. So we have Windows buttons that you can program to make it ease of use for you. A couple of changes in the side of the notebook. So previously with previous generations, which would be a generation 6 and under, there used to be an old serial dock here, which we would have seen in Chris's presentation when he went through the docks. Today, in modern society, we only have now the USB-C dock or port, USB-C port. So there's a USB-C port and your dock actually can power. There is a traditional charging port here if you need. However, with USB-C and the docking stations, you can actually just plug the notebook in and it powers and actually uses those at the same time. On this other side of the notebook, basically you've just got another USB port. So once again, very, very slimline. And just to give you guys a bit of a comparison and some of the change. So here is the old ProBook that we've got. And that one there hasn't got too much of a change there, but as you can see, we've got the older one is a bit thicker. It's a lot more heavier, the older one as well, so it is quite weightier. But with some of the newer ones, for example, the Elite Book, moving into different generations, there is a substantial size difference. So size differences in the actual product. I'm not sure if you can see that there. And then you've also got physical side differences, changes in ports, and then also weight difference. So with the notebooks being smaller and lighter, you are expecting at about a 6% decrease in the weight as well. So with the Elite Books, which is sort of your next model that you would traditionally look at, with the Elite Books, what we have incorporated into the actual notebook, we've incorporated a feature, we've included a piece of technology called Tile, which is a tracking device system. So say, for example, your notebook went missing, you would be able to load up the Tile app and find out exactly and pinpoint exactly where your notebook is. So that's actually a really, really awesome feature. Yeah. Onto something new, because everyone likes to see something different and something new. This is as you can see, it's a beautiful, nice kind of blue color. So this is called the HP Dragonfly. This is one of our premium products in the Elite series, and basically the Dragonfly is designed for traveling. Anyone that's in and out of the office that needs something quite portable, and also something that is got a great battery life, something nice and light as well for those that are traveling to and from the office regularly. There are a couple of ports on here. You've got an HDMI port, you've got your traditional USB, two USB-C ports in there, and then also you've got your on button and a USB-C slot there. So this is quite small, really, really nice. Dragonfly is actually the color of the blue. And also this one here can also become your tablet notebook as well. So this one here has got that functionality where you can use as a tablet, or if you're, doing a demo to a customer, you can actually have it in this mode here, where you can showcase that and present really nicely. Today, also, I thought I would show you something quite different. So moving into the future with technology, what we are starting to see is VR. So virtual reality is something that has started to transform sort of the IT world. We will start to see a lot more VR kit available. So basically virtual reality, being able to connect via your either notebook or an app, and be able to have a real sort of life experience. This is something to look out for. We will have a bit of a launch coming out on the VR stuff very soon. So definitely something to keep an eye out. Normally you would wear this together, and then you would have this on, and then you would have your remotes here. So you'd be able to do sort of like your demo. So this will be quite good in education eventually, where students will be able to have real kind of, not real, but very similar experiences to being in an environment. We have had people talk about online shopping. We all, I'm sure everyone's heard of the countdown online shopping, especially over the crazy time of COVID and lockdown. There are in the States companies that are doing virtual online shopping where you can use your VR kit, walk into the supermarket, touch and feel and see that product before you put it in your shopping basket.